Jeremy Huber, joined by All-American quarterback Michael Niebrick and All-Met Sports Mark Giannotto. And guys, some interesting news as quarterback Caleb Henderson, the former Lake Braddock product, of course, was at North Carolina, decided to transferring locally to Maryland. We'll start with you, Mike. Of course, you're a former Lake Braddock quarterback yourself. Your thoughts on Caleb Henderson and what he brings to the table?
Well, I think it was a good move for him. I mean, he spent the last couple of years at UNC and really hasn't gotten much time on the playing field. So I think it was a good move for him to kind of get a fresh start up at Maryland. And he's a good player. He's got a big time arm. He did a lot of really good things at Lake Braddock. So it should be interesting to see how things play out with him at Maryland.
And again, some of the strong points you mentioned, the big arm, anything else really that he brings to the table that you like in his game?
Well, I think he actually has a little bit of a sneaky athleticism that people don't really realize. To go along with that big arm, he can move around in the pocket really well. He can do some things with his leg outside of the pocket. So I think that he obviously has to take this year off just for eligibility reasons. And he's going to have definitely a good chance to compete for that starting job, not this year, but the following year when he's eligible again.
Mark, let's flip it over to you. How this affects Maryland. They bring in a Henderson who obviously was recruited by an ACC school. What does this do for the Terrapins, bringing a guy like that in?
Well, Maryland's had some well-chronicled quarterback issues in recent years, and it's a roster that doesn't have a ton of quarterbacks on it right now. There's two seniors in Perry Hills, who's just got named the starter, and Caleb Rowe. They'll be gone by the time Caleb's eligible. And there's only one other quarterback on the roster besides them. So Caleb will come in. He'll probably compete right away with Kasim Hill, who's a St. John's quarterback, who's Maryland's top quarterback recruit this year. So it'll be interesting to see how that competition goes. That'll probably be the main competition he faces. Will Maryland go with a guy who has some experience at UNC, has thrown some college passes, or will they go with the guy who DJ Durkin brought in as his touted quarterback recruit in his first recruiting class? So we'll be interested to see. I think it was a good move for Caleb too, just given the fact that UNC has an entrenched starter and Maryland doesn't right now.
Yeah, and of course Maryland, as you talked about, they had quarterback issues over the last few years. We'll see if Caleb Henderson coming over from North Carolina is the guy that's able to go ahead and solve that. So for Mike and for Mark, I'm Jeremy. Again, should be interesting to see what Caleb Henderson is able to do in his time now at Maryland.